Okay, so truth be told, I actually recorded this video several days ago. However, the first time I recorded it, I did not have my mic plugged in. So I went through the whole video talking to myself pretty much, and it took me about 58 minutes and 36 seconds to record this entire video. So I had no audio in the end, and I couldn't just put audio in because it'd be very hard to voice over what I was doing. So I was so mad at myself and at my program that I just kind of put it off for a little bit longer. However, I've done it now. And today I'm going to be going over Project 8 and the SAM 2010 course. And Project 8 takes place in Microsoft Excel, and let me tell you, this project sucks. This is what we're going to be making today. It looks pretty simple, however, it is a lot more difficult to make than you think. So, that being said, due to this difficulty, I was not able to score 100 out of 100, and I only scored a 92, and I got number 12 wrong. And I tried to redo it, I think about 4 times. I redid it on my own account, and then I redid it on somebody else's account, and I still didn't get it right. So if you do everything I do in this video, you're at least guaranteed to get a 92, but maybe you guys can figure out how to do this requirement the correct way. Today I'm going to show you how to do this one a different way than I did it, so hopefully it works. I did a little bit of research and I might have found the correct way, but I can't be sure now because I can't submit the file. So that being said, I do have more to talk about the Access projects, and I'll do that at the end of the video, but let's go ahead and get started with this project. So first thing you want to do is go to your SAM's website and download the project files and save them onto your computer. And when you save them, you want to save them with the name that has your name, an underscore, and a 2, just like that. And then you save it to your computer wherever you feel like saving it. And when you do that, it will open up and it will look something like this. It might not be this tan color, but your name should be right here and under the documentation, and you don't have to worry about this page. It's going to ask you to switch to sheet 1, which will be a blank Excel. So I'm just going to close out of this one and open up a blank. So this is what it's going to look like when you first open it up, and this is how every beginning project looks like. And now that we've saved it with the correct name and made sure that your name is on it, we can switch to sheet 1 and do our first requirement. It asks us to apply the Trek theme to the workbook. So for this, we're going to go to page layout, and over on the top left corner there's a button that says themes. We're going to click on it, and somewhere down here we're going to find Trek, and we're going to click on it, and now your color scheme has changed to Trek. The next thing we want to do is enter the worksheet title. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Guitar parts in cell A1. So A1, this is the corresponding cell in between A and 1, and what I'm going to do is type what it says, and I've told you this in other videos, and I'll tell you again, do not copy me word for word what I type, because I am only doing this for your educational purposes, and I'm not trying to get a good grade on this or anything. So make sure you type it just the way it says in your instructions with capitals and punctuation and all that. Don't copy me word for word. Once you've typed in the title in cell A1, you can do the subtitle that says monthly accounts receivable balance reports in cell A2, which is right underneath A1. So once you've done that, we can go to number 4, and it says apply the title cell style to cells A1 and A2. So in my last video, I taught you the technique of using the shift and click method, which allows you to select multiple cells. We're going to do that right now. I'm going to click on A1. I'm going to hold shift down on the keyboard, click on A2, and now both of those cells are selected, and I'm going to let go of shift. And what it wants us to do is apply the title style to these two cells. So I'm going to go back to my home tab, and over here there's a button underneath the styles that says cell styles, and I'm going to click on that, and it's going to drop down into a menu, and I'm going to click title, and now both of those have been switched to title. Change the font size in cell A1 to 28 point, so I'm just going to click on A1, and this is how I do it. You can do it a different way if you prefer, but I'm just going to show you how I do it. I just highlight what's in it up here, and then I go to my font size and I select 28, and it looks bigger now. Ta-da! It says merge and center the worksheet title across ranges A1 to G1. So to do this, I have to select A1, and I have to click and shift again, and then I'm going to select G1, and now this whole line is selected, and there's a button underneath the alignment menu that says merge and center. If it doesn't say that, click the little arrow next to it and select merge and center, and now it is merged and centered. It wants us to merge and center the worksheet subtitle across ranges A2 and G2. So same thing, click shift click, let go of shift, merge and center. Now they're both the same. Change the background fill color of cells A1 and A2 to standard color red. Alright, so now all I have to do is select A1 and A2 just like that. Same method, shift and click. And up here I'm going to go to background. It says fill color, but it's the background fill color underneath your font menu. And I'm going to click the little arrow, select standard color red. Don't be fooled how this turns a different color. It's for colorblind people. If that is the case, it just helps them, I guess. Don't ask me, I'm not colorblind. And we want to change the font color of cells A1 and A2 to white. So still having these two selected, I'm going to click the A with a little red line underneath it that says font color, and I'm going to select white. So now my font color has been switched to white. The last thing it wants us to do for this requirement is draw a thick box border around range A1 and G2. So same thing, I still have these two cells selected, and up under the font menu there's a button that says bottom border right now, but I'm going to click the little arrow next to it, and down here there's a button that says thick box border, and when I click that, it's going to create this black border around my title box. Okay, moving on to number 5. Change the width of column A to 20. So to do this, I'm just going to click on the letter A, and when I do that, it's going to select all of the cells that are underneath A. And to change the width of this cell, I have to go up here to cells and format. And underneath format, there's a button that says column width, and when I click on it, it'll open up a little box, and I can type in 20, which is what the width size wants it to be. So I'm going to hit enter, and now that column has changed to that measurement. It wants me to change the width of columns B through G to 12 points. So I'm going to hit B, I'm going to hit shift, and then I'm going to hit G, and now it's selected all of those cells. I'm going to do the same thing, format, column width. I'm going to type in 12, enter, and now it's been changed. The last thing it wants us to do, or the last two things it wants us to do, is change the height of row 3 to 36. So I'm just going to click the 3, and I'm going to go to format, and this time I'm going to go to row height right here, and it wants 36, enter, and then it wants me to change the row, or the height of row 12 to 30. So here's 12, format, height, and 30. Okay, enter the column titles in range A3 to G3, and row titles in range A11 to A14 as specified. And don't let this fool you because it does switch tables. Basically what it wants us to do right now is from A3 to G3, which is right here, I'm going to enter in the top half of this cell. So beginning right here in A3, I'm going to put customer, and ending in G3 is going to be New Balance. So just go down the line like that and end with New Balance here, and then once you get to New Balance, you go down to A11, and that's where you enter totals, and you're going to end in A14 with averages. So enter in that data and I will be right back. So as of right now, this is what your project should look like, with customer up here, you're ending with New Balance, and totals in A11, and you're ending in A14 with average. It wants us to then center the column titles in ranges A3 to G3. So here's A3, I'm going to click Shift, click G3, and I'm just going to click in the alignment section the center button, and now my titles have been centered. It wants us to then apply the heading 3 style to ranges A3 to G3, so still having this range selected, I'm going to go into cell styles and I'm going to click heading 3, so this one, and once I've done that, you'll see that it changes colors a little bit. And then it wants me to apply the total cell style to ranges A11 to G11. So here's A11. Click Shift, click to G11, and again to cell styles, and I'm going to click total. And that puts some little lines and bolds the total and everything. Once I've done that, it wants me to bold the titles in range A12 to A14, so these ones, click Shift, click, bold is up here, this B, now they're bolded, and then it wants me to change the font size in range A3 to G14 to 12 points. So here's A3, G14, so pretty much the whole table, and then I go to font size and change it to 12 point. It then wants me to apply the wrap text to cells B3 and F3. So here's B3, and using the same method that we used with the click Shift, instead of holding Shift down, I'm going to hold Control down, and what this does is allows you to key out certain cells that you don't want to have. So to simplify it, when you have Control down, the cells that you click on are the only ones that are going to be selected, not everything in between. So I'm going to click on B3, I'm going to hold Shift, or I'm going to hold Control down, excuse me, and I'm then going to click on F3, which is this one. So now both of these are selected, even though this one's still white. Both of these are selected and nothing in between is selected. And it wants us to wrap the text, which is going to make them not fall off the sides like they're doing, and it's a one click button up here underneath the alignment, and when I click it, you'll see that it puts it in a vertical position, so it's one word over top of the other, and that is number 7. Moving on to number 8, it wants us to enter the data in table 2 in ranges A4 to E10. So starting here and going all the way to right here, I'm going to enter in the customer name starting with Curvance Catirel or something like that, and I'm going to end with Ton Lin. Man, they sure pick friggin' awkward names. But anyway, the customer name is going to go here, and then all the numerical data is going to go from here to here. And once you've entered all that in, I'll be right back. I'm just going to copy and paste real quick from my other project. So Okay, so when you've entered in all your data, it should look something like this. And now that we've done all that and you've double checked your work and made sure you got every single number correct and every single name spelled correct, we're going to use our first formula. Okay, this is gonna suck. Formulas are very confusing to use if you don't know what you're doing, and I'm going to try my best to explain how this formula works, and the instructions make it even worse because it just doesn't make sense if you're looking at it in words. It'll make sense if you know how to do it already, but elsewise it just looks like a bunch of jibber jabber and you're not going to figure it out. So what it's asking us to do when it says service charge, open parentheses, cell F4 equals 3.25% times, which is a little star symbol, stands for times in Microsoft Excel. And then it says beginning balance minus payments minus credits. So to do what it just asked us to do, I'm going to click an F4 first of all. And when I do this, I'm going to start typing in my formula, which is going to be like this. It's going to be equals 3.25%, which is shift 5, times, which is shift 8, space. And then I'm going to do an open parentheses. And now I'm going to use my mouse, and I'm going to click on the corresponding beginning balances for this row. For this customer, this is their row of their beginning balance, credits, payments, and purchases for this customer only. So I'm going to now click on beginning balance, and you'll see that it automatically puts in B4, which is what that column is. So it wants me to subtract that from the payment. So once I've clicked on that, it's going to put it in, and now I'm just going to put in minus, which is right next to the equal sign. And now I'm going to click on payments, which is this one. And it wants me to also subtract that from the credits. So I'm going to hit minus again, and then I'm going to hit credits. Just like that. So you're selecting the boxes that are going to be subtracted. Don't forget to put the ending parentheses though. So you're going to need to do this for every single row, same way. And once you've done it, press enter, and it will put in the correct data, which is 15.24. So again, it's equals 3.25% times space, open parentheses, beginning balance minus payments minus credits, ending parentheses, enter. And you're going to do that for each row, just like I said. So I'm going to keep doing it for you because I know it's a little bit confusing. So don't forget to use the space and close the parentheses. Click, minus, ending, enter. And equals 3.25% times space minus enter. So once you've done this, it becomes kind of the same thing, so don't freak out. It's not that hard. Once you get it down 2 or 3 times, you'll just pick it right up. Oops. Time space. So hopefully you guys see how I did that. And to double check your work, you can look at the final figure, and you'll see that most of, like, the first top two are going to be correct, but later on in different requirements we're going to round up. So for instance, the very bottom one, which is 3.38 right now, will be 3.39 because there's a 5 after the 8, and if you know anything about math, you know that 5 will round the next number up. So anyway, once you've done that, we have yet another formula to do, and this one is a little bit different. Once you've finished this row of formulas, you're going to click on the first one under New Balance. So that's that one. And this formula is a little bit different. Personally, I don't think it is as hard, but you just have to get the correct order of things, so to speak. So it says New Balance cell G4 equals beginning balance plus purchases minus credits minus payments plus service charge. That simplifies into equals and only equals, and then you're going to select let me put my piece of paper in half because my eyes like to look back up at everything else. So I'm going to do equals beginning balance, which is this one. Now I'm going to do plus, which is shift equals. You can find it on your keyboard. Purchases, I'm going to click on that. Minus credits, click on that. Minus payments, click on that. Plus service charge, so I put another plus in. Service charge. I don't need parentheses, I don't need 3.25%, I don't need any timeses, I just need equals, pluses, minuses. Now I'm going to hit enter, and it puts the number in. So now you're going to do that same thing over again for all of these rows down here. So equals beginning balance plus purchases minus credits minus payments plus service charge, enter, equals purchases minus credits minus payments plus that, enter, equals this plus that minus that plus this, enter, so as you can see, you just have to get the right order of things, and once you do that, it's just kind of repetitive. So alrighty, double check your numbers to make sure they get really close to the numbers on the final figure, and from the looks of it, mine are. So that was part of the formulas, probably the hardest part of entering the formulas of this project, and if you've done it, I salute you. Good job. Now what we have to do is inserting automatic formulas. So the next thing it wants us to do is use a formula or function in cells B11 and G11 to determine the column totals. So here's B11. I'm going to click shift all the way to G11, and up here under my editing menu there's a button with that weird Greek symbol or whatever ethnicity it is. I've forgotten the name. It should say AutoSum by default, but if it doesn't, click the arrow next to it and you're going to click sum, and when you do this it's going to add up everything vertically. So everything in this column is going to be totaled in this column, everything in this column is going to be totaled in this column, and so forth. So I'm going to click sum, and it's going to give me all of my sums for these columns. Number 12. Okay, this is where I messed up. However, I may have figured it out now, but I can't be sure because I can't submit my project again. So you can try it this way. You will at least get a 92, which is still an A if it doesn't work, but hopefully it works. So what it wants us to do is use the max, min, and average functions in cells B12 to B14 to determine the highest, lowest, and average values for the range B4 to B10, and then copy the range B12 to B14 to C12 and G14. So that sounded very confusing, but basically what it wants us to do is from here to here, from rows 4 to 10, it wants us to put the highest value in row 12. It wants us to put the lowest value in row 13 and the average value in row 14. But again, we're only doing it for the cells 4 and 10. So I'll show you the problem that happens when you do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my shift and click technique and my control and click technique. So first I'm going to click B4 and I'm going to shift and I'm going to click G10, and that's going to select all my data in my project so far. Now I'm going to let go of shift and press control on the keyboard, and I'm going to click all of the rows in highest like so, and I'm going to leave out row 11. So I'm going to let go of control now, and I'm going to go up to this AutoSum button. I'm not going to click the AutoSum button, I'm going to click the arrow, and it wants our max value for those rows. So I'm going to click that, and it will put the max values in these cells. Now for some reason my computer likes to do this. If this happens to you, it's a proofing preset in Microsoft Excel. Basically it's asking you what rows you want the totals in, and we only want B4 to B10, but it's doing it to B11, which is going to select this row, which we don't want. So up here I'm going to click right behind the 11. I'm going to go back one, and then I'm going to put a 0, so it's B10, and you'll see that this blue box will appear, and that's showing me what data is selected for this formula, which is the correct amount. So I'm going to hit enter now, and it's going to put my maximum value, which is 803.01 right there. Now I'm going to do the same thing, only this time I'm going to leave out both of these rows. So I'm going to click shift click, I'm going to hold down control now, and I'm going to go across like this, and then I'm going to go up to the little arrow, and it wants my minimum value right now, so I'm going to click minimum. This little thingy is going to pop up again. I'm going to go back up to here, get rid of the 2, put the 0, enter. Same thing for average. Click shift click, let go of shift, control, click, 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 and now it wants my average value. So I'm going to click the arrow, and there's a button that says average. Again, this box is going to pop up. I'm going to get rid of the 13, press 0, enter. Now, somewhere in that requirement, I did something wrong. Now, I don't know if I did it wrong again, or if I may have fixed it by now. So it's up to you guys whether you want to tell me if you got it right or not, or if you know the proper way to do it, then by all means send me a message or make a video response or something. I'll be happy to learn the correct way to do it. So that being said, we're going to move on to 13, and now we've pretty much passed the hardest part of the project. We have one more little medium hard part coming up, but for right now it's going to be pretty easy. So 13 says assign the number format currency to ranges B4 and B4 to G4 and B11 to G14. So here's B4, shift, click all the way to G4, and up here under my number menu, I'm going to click the arrow and select currency, and it's going to change it to dollar format. It wants me to do the same thing to ranges B11 to G14. So B11, click shift, G14, let go of shift, arrow, currency, dollar symbols, and decimal points. And then it wants me to assign the number format to range B5 to G10. So B5, click shift, G10, and it wants number. So arrow, number. And now it's put in zeros where my decimal points end. Okay, this is our last little bump. And some of you might be familiar with it, some of you might not be. It's called conditional formatting. And what it wants us to do is to change the format to white font color on standard red background color in any cells in the range F4 to F10 that contain a value greater than 10. So you have to be able to decipher the language a little bit, so to speak. What it wants is F4 to F10, so I'm going to select F4, shift, F10, and then it says contains a value greater than 10, keyword being greater than. So up here under my styles, there's a button that says conditional formatting. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to highlight cell rules. And over there, there's a button that says greater than. I'm going to click that, and it's going to give me a little box. And in this box, it wants me to use greater than 10. So I'm going to enter, whoa, not 14, 10 into that. And then what I want to do is click this drop down arrow and do a custom format. And when I click that, it's going to bring up another box, and it starts off on the font color. So it says use white font color. So I'm going to click the arrow and I'm going to select white, and then it wants a standard red fill background. So I'm going to go to fill, and I'm going to select red, and then I'm going to hit OK, and make sure it's set to your custom format, and make sure this is set to 10, and then you're going to press OK. And when you do that, you'll see that these two boxes turn red with white lettering, which is conditional formatting. It highlights the things that stand out, that you set, so to speak. So as of right now, it looks pretty much exactly like the final figure. You can double check your work. The last couple things it wants us to do is change the worksheet name from sheet 1 to accounts receivable. So down here there's a button that says sheet 1. I'm going to right click on sheet 1, and a menu is going to pop up, and I'm going to select rename, and I'm going to rename it accounts receivable. And to make it stick, you just click away. You don't have to press enter or anything. And it also wants me to change the color of this tab to standard red. So again, I'm going to click on the name, and there's a button that says tab color and standard color red. And you'll see that there's a little red tint underneath it. If you click away from it, it turns bright red. And that wraps up Project 8. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope if you did everything I did, you will get 100, or at least a 92 like I did, which is still an A. And this is our last project in Microsoft Excel. So our next project will be in Access, and let me tell you something right now. I'm going to be doing project 9 and 10, which is the first two projects in Access. However, 11 was not in my curriculum for my class, so I will not be doing that project. You guys will have to figure it out on your own, which you should have a pretty good grasp on from my previous videos and these videos. I even asked my teacher if she could just open up Project 11 so that I could download the stuff and do it for you, and maybe you guys could get a gist of how it is, but I wouldn't be able to guarantee that you'd get a great grade. So, that being said, I also, and due to technical difficulties at the school, my teacher has completely ruled out the access segment in my class. So, I have downloaded, she was nice enough to open up Project 9 and 10, and I have downloaded the project files and the instructions, and I'm going to do them for you guys to the best extent that I can, but I'm not going to be able to show you guys what my grade is because I won't be able to submit it because my teacher doesn't have it open for submission. So I'm sorry to ramble on, but if you get it, I hope you do. I'm going to try my best to help you guys out, but I can't be sure that you guys are going to get a whole bunch of good grades or not, because I won't be able to know if I made a mistake or not. Anyway, I'm about done here, so I hope you found this one helpful, and if you did, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, comment. It helps me out a little bit, and also send me ideas of tutorials that you guys want to see in the future, whether it's something that has to do with computers, life in general, whatever. I enjoy being able to give my opinion and share the knowledge that I have, if I have knowledge about the subject that you want to know about. So, sorry it took a little bit longer to get this video out, but I've gotten it out, and we can now say we're finished with the Excel segment of the SAM 2010 course. So congratulations, and I'll see you guys next time.